This is KGZ87, and welcome to the special episode of Power of X-Men.
So we've literally already been talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, we did. Did you even see my shirt all the way?
No, I didn't even see it all the way. Is that Cyclops?
Yeah.
Oh my god, with the little kitty!
Yeah. It goes pew pew.
I don't see the pew pew. Oh my
here.
god.
It's very tiny. It's right here. You can't see it, but that's the words.
Let me see. Oh my god, I love that so much. Oh my god, like that is genius. So he has a Cyclops shirt and he's pointing down like with his optic blast onto the floor, and a little cat is following it like you would with a laser pointer. I love that so much. So yeah, we have Kevin in the house today.
Hello. Yes.
Oh my god, Kevin. I'm such a huge... Wait. I'm sorry. I keep calling you Kevin, and I'm not addressing you by your mutant name.
Oh, yeah. I
picked it.
I just made it up today. You told me to come up with one. I'm like, okay.
Hydrothermal. Like, what? And then you showed me all these photos of you, like, obsessed with both the fire and water elements.
Yeah.
And, like, first of all, the first thing I thought about, like, oh my god, this guy is like a kindred spirit, because I'm a fire sign, I'm a Sagittarius, but I love water. I love a good Pisces, but I also need hot water to soothe me. And I know that's stupid to say, like, because you tea, everything hot bath, but you don't understand. I probably take like 10 hot baths a day, and it's not like anything drawn out. I just sit there and I meditate and I move on. You know,
it's something very healing about that. You know, it's because I can go into a hot shower or a hot tub when I'm sick, and I'm just like, I feel so much better. I feel like, you know, my sinuses are cleared. You know, everything is wonderful. You know, it's something very healing and therapeutic about that.
So Hydrothermal is a bisexual actor, singer, model, and cosplayer, but really he's just a dorky random from Milwaukee. And I'm sorry, look, I thank you for being really modest in your bio. I asked you to send, and you're like, really? I don't know. You're not just some random geek in Milwaukee. You're Cyclops cosplay. Oh my god.
I am really quite proud of that. I've always been a Cyclops stan, but I really kind of worked to get it to the point where I felt good about it, and it's good. Thank you.
Well, you look great. I mean, anyone who tunes into this podcast knows that I will marry Scott Summers. Oh my god, you have a pillow! Literally, when I was looking down, you pulled up this amazing Cyclops pillow. Thank you, Hydrothermal, for giving. Oh yes.
Yeah.
I said this on your podcast, and I'm gonna say it now. I totally love your room. You have the X-Men Legends video games.
Yeah, should I pull them out again?
Yeah, bring them out, please.
I got, there's 1 and 2.
Yes.
I want to play them again. I should play them again. And I used to love X-Men Next Dimension too, the fighting game.
Oh, I love it. You must enjoy playing with fire.
Yes.
But you have the Charmed House behind you as well. You have the Book of Shadows, and now you have a Cyclops throw pillow.
I know, just chilling, you know.
Do you live in? I'm picturing you living in the Hollowell Mansion.
I have fantasies about me like buying the house and then turn it into like a Halloween museum, like they did in Crisscross, because I have all my stuff. I have my P3 sign over there too. I have P3.
Wait, let me see.
Oh, let me turn it on. I turn it on for you.
Yeah. Why are you being stingy?
Okay, you turn it on, and then you can't see it. But
oh my god.
It's so bright you can't really tell what it is. But
you can, but I know, obviously I know the P3 sign. Like,
I'll send you a picture later where you can see it like really.
So listeners, if you haven't surmised yet, Hydrothermal is a huge Charm stan, as am I. I know I don't talk about it as much, but Charm probably occupies about like, I want to say like 45% of my thoughts on a daily basis. And Hydrothermal, aka Kevin, is a podcast host for Words of the Witches. and we were just kikiing on his podcast where we talked about a book from the Charm series, Beware What You Wish. I was going to say, be careful what you wish for.
I know. It tries to get you. It really does.
It tries to get you. But he has this really magnetic personality. And we've been talking for a while on Instagram, but we've never really met or like had like an actual, I don't want to say like IRL because this isn't IRL, but like, dude, your vibe, I'm like obsessed.
Well, thank you. You know, I just try to be as authentic as possible and just try to be me in every aspect. And we're all layered, but I have those geekery moments, the energy, and I'm glad you can appreciate that and see that.
Your Sailor Saturn cosplay. Okay, so the other thing I'm obsessed with, and everyone knows this because I talk about it all the time, is Sailor Moon. I am like a crazy Sailor Moon stan. And your Sailor Saturn cosplay, holy frack, it's flawless.
Yeah, I mean, and that I never even planned on ever doing a Sailor Moon cosplay or anything, but cosplayer friends of mine were doing a group for a Dragon Con. They asked me to be a part of it. I'm like, hey, why not? I'm like, what sailors are available? And I'm like, ooh, Saturn sounds good. I can do Saturn.
You'll be like, I'll be the Senshi of destruction and despair.
Right. I'm like, I mean, I like a little bit of a enigmatic kind of sad, brooding kind of. I don't know. I like it.
No, you nailed it. That's exactly. She comes in at the 13th hour to either end the world or save it.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
That's I showed you. You posted my Mercendius page, my fire water page in there. I don't know if you could read the description in there, but it pretty much. I have to find it, but it's pretty much says that I am from peril. I'm powers from parallel universes, and I'm always kind of like chaotic, and you never know how I'm going to turn. And no one knows how I'm going to end up saving the world or destroying the world, and it totally fits into the Saturn
right
vibe.
there. And you're also a little bit of Phoenix there too, either Phoenix or your Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
I love that. So when did we are an X-Men podcast, and I can talk about Sailor Moon and Charmed all day. Actually, I can't even talk about Charmed for over 2 hours, as you just discovered. But I'm curious, let's bring into the X-Men, because I don't know your history with the X-Men that much. So this is a learning experience for me too. What was your first memory of the X-Men?
Oh, I mean, it's probably the animated series. That was like the thing in the 90s that prime age for it. You always said, I mean, it was iconic. It came out all the time. And
wait, I'm sorry, do that again. That was incredible. I can't do it. There's an episode recently where someone was humming it, and I was like, I was like so bad. I was like, I have to cut this. Like, it's so awful. And the way you did it, I loved it. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay,
it's that choir singer person in me, that musical theater actor. I mean, that's bringing it out. But but it's that was my first kind of thing, that, because between that and Spider-Man, the 90s Spider-Man, I really liked. Because I'm a big Spider-Man fan too. I have my little pillow that I'm sitting on right now.
Oh my god, you have a neck pillow of Spider-Man. You're adorable. I love that so much. Dude, I just want to hang in this magical room you're in. Is this your bedroom or living room? Or
this is just a nerd room. I have other stuff over here you can see. I got X-Men characters and Power Rangers and stuff over
Oh my
there.
god, you have that Phoenix statue.
Yeah. There's my Spider-Man wall, my corner, or whatever. So
oh my god,
there's Kingdom Hearts stuff here, like Disney Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Oh, I haven't played Kingdom Hearts in such a long time. It's funny, I forget people who are not in New York City actually have space for things. So I'm like, why do you have just a geek room? Like, I'm still thrown off. I'm like, is this your studio apartment? You're like, bitch, it's just one bedroom in my fabulous life. Like,
it's actually pretty cheap to live in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. It's really inexpensive, so you can get a lot for your buck.
We talked about this earlier today. I thought you lived in LA because, again, you have such a majestic smile. You have such a charismatic presence. I thought you were just in LA.
Yeah, and I get that a lot. A lot of people think I'm in LA, and I'm like, oh really? Okay. But I usually visit LA once a year or so, and I go like, it's fun here, but I don't think I could live here. People are, I don't know. It's a little too hectic for me, I think.
Yeah.
But Our nerd alert, our Jason just moved there. He was in where was he before? I forget.
Was it San Francisco?
I think so. Oh yeah, he was in, yeah, that's right. So it
I
wasn't
think
too far.
so.
It wasn't too far.
I just hung out with him when I was in LA. I love Nerd Alert so much.
We met at last Dragon Con.
Oh, really?
We were at the party there, and
Oh, you sent me. That's how we first started talking because I had him. We had him on the podcast a while ago, and you were like, "Oh, I know him," and you sent a photo of you guys together, and I was like, "Oh my God, they're friends. That's so cool." And that's how you and I started really talking.
Yeah. I was in my body. I was body painted as a torn suit Spider-Man. So I was like,
oh my God,
shredded.
I remember the picture right now. You looked great. Both of you looked incredible, but Jason, was on the podcast again recently. We did a Hellfire Kiki. Oh, you did?
Yes.
With Demanda Martini, Mr. Scott Free, and him. Like, isn't that insane? Like, that's my God, that was so much fun. We need to get you on a Kiki like that because, like, I would love to see you go at it. So you were watching the animated series. Did you ever gravitate towards the comics?
When did I start reading? Because I'm not a huge comic book reader because I do like comics, but I always feel so overwhelmed by them. Just comics in general, just like they go to all different directions, and there's so many different issues, and there's so many different stories, and so many different spin-offs and stuff. So I kind of I like to get the volumes that were I don't usually get single issues, but I usually get the volumes, and I picked up them every once in a while, occasionally, and I had them for a while. I read quite a few. I even read like the Mutant X with Havoc, and
I love Mutant X so much, and I love it so much. I did a Instagram live with Planet X-Men, and you're like, I don't trust people who like Mutant X, and I was like, yeah, because it's fun. Sometimes
it was just good old fashioned fun. Yeah.
Sometimes, and here's the thing: sometimes you got to turn off your brain and just like enjoy the story that's ahead of you. Like, of course, like you look back and you read Mutant X. Yeah, I agree 100% with Chris. It ain't fun. But, sometimes you're like, I'm going to get this novelty that Havoc has come to this alternate dimension where the X-Men are more like Halloween and Marvel Woman is Madeline Pryor. So I really enjoyed it. But to our benefit that you have picked up trades, we are going to be talking about X-Men The End today. Yes. After we get to know you. Yeah, you have. Right. I only have it on digital format because all my old trades are back home in Florida. Yeah. But I want to get to know you more. I have a feeling the Power of X-Men community is just going to be crazy about you. Who is your favorite X-Men?
I mean,
I wonder who.
I'm a big Cyclops fan. I know he's not the most loved character in the X-Men universe, but I really like him. I find him. I kind of get drawn to those tragic characters to me, and Cyclops is kind of a tragic character to me because he always wants to have that control. He wants to have that, he wants to be a leader like he is, but has all this inner turmoil that he has to kind of keep contained, and he has all these like this loss, and and the fact that he has to wear visor to even control his power is something that probably eats him up every day. And so it's like it's just really nice to see that layered kind of character to me, even though most people just see him as a Boy Scout.
Well, how do you feel about this recent revelation? It's not a revelation, but sort of insinuation that he, Jean, and Logan are in a throuple.
I'm all about it because I'm a bisexual guy, yep. So I'm all about it. It's like one of my because it's always kind of been there, like subliminally, and like it's been hinted at, but this is something that's like even more in your face. And actually I might be doing a photo shoot soon where we might bring some of that throuple vibes out. I'm supposed to be going to Vegas over 4th of July weekend with with some other cosplayers that you might know.
Stop. I'm trying to think who's in Vegas. I'm trying to think. Is it Jason?
Not Jason.
No spoilers. I'm not going to pry for spoilers.
Okay, Dorkside Fitness. You know Dorkside Fitness?
I do know Dorkside. I don't think we've ever interacted, but of course. Oh my God, that's incredible. Who's going to be Jean? Is it Michelle?
I forget her. I know it's the Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not who I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know who it is, but yeah, we're gonna meet and we're gonna do some photo shoots and some stuff. I recently did a Captain America cosplay too, Infinity War cosplay, and they
I
want me to
know you
bring
sent
that.
it to me. I think I squealed. I'm sorry. I'm such a fanboy. Oh my gosh. Um, all right. So Cyclops is your favorite. You know, he's had a lot going on in the books recently. Who's your least favorite X? We are salty here. I'm sorry. We can be salty. Give me a read. Give me a read.
Oh
And the
God,
only response that's acceptable here is Hank McCoy.
I know.
You know how much I fucking hate Hank McCoy.
Right. So, and it's I when I first heard you said it, because a few episodes ago I was listening to, I was like, he hates Beast. Why? Because my only like real memory of him was just like the fun guy in the '90s cartoon. Like he was
Well,
just
and
like a fun.
he's
Yeah,
great in the cartoon.
yeah. And so I'm like, oh, and then I hear all these things that I wasn't aware about. I'm like, okay, well maybe he's not so nice. But yeah, who is my least favorite? God. I never really think about least favorite. Who do I hate? Who do I hate? I don't know.
Good. Look, you have an open heart.
I do. I really love most people. Probably one of the gross ones. Like one of
Oh,
like who's a gross one I don't like?
like maggot.
Maggot. Yeah. I
No
don't
one
like
ever
the
likes maggot.
I don't like the blob.
Oh, Blom.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe I didn't get to understand him enough. But you know, like he's too big. He's too scary for me.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I don't, with the exception of joking about Beast, I don't think I hate any X-Man in particular because one, they're fictional characters. Two, I came to X-Men at a point in my life where I was being bullied so badly that reading these comic books, watching the TVs, playing the video games, I sort of was able to escape into them, and I just took these people for who they were, and I just enjoyed the stories. I inhaled them. So, you know, there have been characters in the past that maybe like, you know, Kitty was someone that I was like, well, she feels like more like whatever the writers want her to be, but I still will come to a Kitty story. And I think Marauders, where she's now Kate, it's a wonderful tale. So like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, it's hard to like be like, I don't like this one. It's like, I don't know. I don't really have strong feelings. Even when thinking about Charmed, like Phoebe would be my least favorite sister, but I still like her at certain
Right.
points more than other characters. Does that make sense?
Right.
And I would still watch a show about Phoebe.
Sure. Different writers interpret the characters in different ways, and see, like they evolve a lot over time too. So it's it makes sense.
So you have the video games there. Is there a particularly favorite X-Men video game you played?
I mean, it probably was X-Men Legends. I really like that one. I feel like I got the story, and I got to play. I got to see a lot of my favorite characters. And the fact that now I know that it was made in Wisconsin is kind of cool.
So he's referring to the episode we did with Patrick Lippo, where that's where Raven Software was at. And the episode hasn't aired yet. I interviewed the X-Men Legends 2 and Ultimate Alliance 1 director, Dan Bondrak.
And but didn't he have a background of like Green Bay Packers and stuff there too?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
so I'm like, I know that.
I love how you know that. Yeah, exactly that. And he mentioned he got the job because Patrick ended up moving out to the Pacific Northwest. But he also let me know what X-Men Legends 3 would look like. I know, and that's going to be coming. I want to tell you. I'll tell you once we're not recording, but it would have been good. But I agree. I love the video games so much, and I played them in college, and it was such a good time. Yeah. And I think we were talking about on your podcast. I was like, well, you asked me what's the connection with the X-Men, X-Men and Charm. And I was like, well, I was playing X-Men Legends 1 during season 7 of Charmed, and then X-Men Legends 2 during season 8. And of course, you brought up, and I won't steal your thunder.
Oh, that Lee Allen Baker, the voice of Jean Grey in those games, was Hannah Webster in season 1 of Charmed.
And she was also on Will and Grace. She was the best friend. Yeah. We need to do another crossover with her in it. But wait, speaking of actors and stuff like that, what did you think of the movies? Do you have a particularly favorite X movie?
I mean, I because I'm a big Cyclops fan, I get mad at a lot of times the way he's treated in the movies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That
I'm
was
like,
laughable what they did to him.
yeah, I'm like, just cut his part shorter every movie that comes through. So, I guess, but yeah, I mean, I probably everyone's favorite is like X-Men 2, but I don't know. I think I might like the first one just because I feel like Cyclops has a bigger role in there. He's not offensively like cut down,
Marginalized.
yeah.
Yeah.
And and there's some fun lines in there. Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? Like
Now tell us, please. Well, so the creators of the X-Men animated series, Eric and Julia Lewald, talked about how they saw the script for X-Men 1 and they were like, Storm has nothing to do in it. And obviously the script evolved, but I still think that is still a problem in the movie. And they try to give Storm this badass moment, but it was like literally the most laughable moment out of the entire movie, which was a great movie. I saw it like not too long ago again, and it holds up. It's not a bad, and it gave us it set the bar for future superhero movies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you think of James Marsden's actual portrayal of Cyclops?
I probably what made me fall in love with James Marsden actually.
Oh my god! After disturbing behavior, I was in love with him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like and then he started doing like Enchanted, and he did Hairspray. And it's like this is like my career. You're playing all the parts I want to play. Thank you.
Well, you do have kind of like a James Marsden quality to you. I see it.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. It's I thought he did a good job with it. I mean, they don't because they probably they get some of the layers, the tragicness of it, but he is kind of the Boy Scout like people expect him to be too. But I thought I liked the way he acted it. I could still see his eyebrows and his emotion.
Yeah, good eyebrow game.
Yeah. Although it's funny because they think of like what's the guy that plays Beast in like the newer ones? I can't remember his name.
Oh my! Now I'm totally blanking on his name. Oh my god, Nicholas Hoult.
Yes, I always felt like he would have made like a much better younger Cyclops than Beast because I feel like he has that kind of same kind of face. And
yeah,
he's tall like Cyclops should be, and I don't know.
So that was going to be my next question. What did you think of Ty Sheridan?
I mean, I don't know if it was like bad. It wasn't as memorable to me. I don't know.
I agree. Like him and Sophie Turner just didn't. I thought Sophie Turner looked perfect as Jean. I think Ty Sheridan in Dark Phoenix really looked like Cyclops, but there was something that was just lacking. I don't know if it was script. I don't know if it was direction. I don't know if it was chemistry. I don't know if it just maybe they weren't the right actors for that role. I don't know. On the surface, it's a good idea, but it didn't get executed the way it should have.
Yeah, I mean, not that Cyclops is a big, energetic guy, but I still didn't feel enough of the energy that I wanted from him. So.
No, I mean, Cyclops is a leader, and hopefully in the MCU, we're going to see that fleshed out a little bit more. And especially since you don't have to have the Hugh Jackman problem in the prequels, which is Hugh Jackman's going to steal the spotlight because it's Wolverine. People gravitate towards him, rightfully so. And so Cyclops has to get marginalized from a narrative standpoint. Like, fine, like I'll accept that for the first franchise, but now you're coming at it again. You don't have Hugh Jackman there. People like faithful comic book adaptations. Give Cyclops something to do. Make him the leader.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what we need.
That's what we need. So what about your cosplaying history? When did you start cosplaying?
Oh, I guess Spider-Man was my first one. I had I made like a whole picture of like my Spider-Man evolution. I had so many different Spider-Man costumes.
Really? Where's that photo?
Oh, I should find it. It's on my Instagram somewhere. You'll find it. But it's on there. And my first costume. It wasn't even for like anything except for just me to have it. Mm-hmm. But I went to like the Salvation Army. I would just roam the streets in it.
I love that.
I remember there's a video on YouTube somewhere of me like running around the Salvation Army, and because it was like just full like Zentai suit, no souls or anything, I was like slipping. I was walking through there on the tile floor and like fell over a bunch of times.
You didn't have any shoes on?
No.
Oh my god!
It was before, yeah. I mean,
they don't build the souls into them.
they didn't. Boy, that particular suit did not have souls in it because it was still pretty new. It was before all the epic cosplay. I think because people didn't do epic cosplays back then when I first started doing stuff. I think it was probably like 2008.
Yeah.
I mean, the conventions were happening, but not when no one I knew, and I was just kind of like the newbie looking at costumes. But yeah, and so that was the first one. The first convention I went to, I did a Dragon Ball Z character, something easy. I did the Batman and Vegeta with the crazy wig and bad hair and the pink shirt. But yeah, that was my first one. And after that, then I started getting more and saving up and doing the real good stuff.
Okay. And so obviously you're a very prolific cosplayer. When did things start snowballing for you? Was there a particular look that sort of people were like, wow, he nailed it? I think you nail all the looks, but I'm just curious, like, what did people respond to the most and sort of propel you to where you're at today?
Yeah, what was it? I mean, I think
Zaddy
it was
Cyclops.
Yeah, Cyclops. I mean, that one did get a ton of. I was shared all over the place. I was in all different like Instagram.
You look incredible in it, and I'm not talking about like some of the more provocative ones. I'm talking about like the Cyclops view in the park like that. You look absolutely wonderful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that was probably the big one. But I was already kind of established doing my real cosplays before that. I think it was probably my Spider-Man, like trying to get that right. And every time I got a new Spider-Man, it got me further along. And I've had gigs. I did like events in Spider-Man. I was paid to do Spider-Man stuff, and so I just kept going and working on that.
I love that. That sounds absolutely wonderful. So, do you have a particular character you love cosplaying as?
I like. Oh, I mean, I definitely love doing my Cyclops one, but I did enjoy doing my Kenshi from Mortal Kombat. It was probably one of the more involved ones that I did. And you know what? Power Ranger was a big one too. That was another one that sparked me.
That's right. You were the Blue Ranger, right?
My Blue Ranger. My intent was just to do Blue Ranger, and I went to one Power Ranger convention. It was the first time I traveled outside of my state or outside of my area. I went on a plane, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to this convention and travel. This is crazy.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, rewind there for me. Wait, you had never left Milwaukee?
Well, I mean, I left, but not for a convention. So this is my first time traveling for a convention.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa. Okay. I was like, I love that cosplaying together. Okay, no. So your first cosplaying experience, you were leaving from Wisconsin, going there as a cosplayer. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It was in Florida. It was in Orlando. I went to Ranger Stop. That was my first
I'm a Florida boy. Mm-hmm. Love my Florida.
Yeah. So I went there and I did the Blue Ranger and found a whole team of Rangers. And we got like the core, like 6 people, 6 Rangers, and we were together. And then I started becoming big in the Ranger fandom. I was going to all the Ranger conventions and doing new Rangers, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I wanted to do, but sure, this is what's evolved into. And yeah, it was. So I did a couple different Rangers now since then, and now I'm just trying to move on and branch out a little bit because I feel like if you do one Ranger, you kind of do them all.
Yeah,
because they're all similar. But I would like to just keep getting that fandom, do different things.
Well, what's one cosplay you're eager to do but haven't done yet? Ooh. I know. Look at. I'm sorry. That's my Oprah question.
I want to do Lunar Wolf Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Because I love Sokka, and because the wolf thing, I don't have to cut my hair crazy. I can just put it over my head and it'll be fine. And then I get a space sword, and it'd be a great winter one because the winter conventions here in February. I'll have a nice like water tribe furry fluffy thing.
Have you gone back to conventions yet? I haven't. I know there's some like mini conventions happening.
Yeah.
But you haven't yet. Do you miss conventions? You must miss.
I do. Yeah. So hopefully, I know C2E2 is coming. I think in December, I try to go back to that, and then in February, the Anime Milwaukee is coming back, so I'll probably do that one, and slowly and surely. And then Dragon Con, I'll probably get to since I already have my ticket from last year.
So
rolled over.
So why cosplay? Why do you gravitate towards cosplaying? That's my other Oprah question. You're welcome.
Well, thanks, Oprah.
I mean, I'm nowhere as cool for the record, but why? What is cosplay? why, and the reason why I ask this is because I get so many beautiful answers from other cosplayers, ranging from it's fun to it's an art to it's just something I do to cope with, something that happened to me, blah blah blah, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of stems from my, because I'm an actor, I do musical theater and acting and stuff, and it's probably stems from me just really being drawn to certain characters and really feeling for them and relating to them, and giving me the opportunity to like put myself in their shoes and like and really be that person that you idolize so much and play a character and just have fun with it. I it just there's something very rewarding to bring those childhood characters and even the adult characters and to see it like come to life right in front of your eyes instead of just on a TV screen or in a comic book or whatever. It's like there in front of you and you're it, and it's like you feel powerful, you feel cool, and
I love that response.
yeah. And then you just getting with other cosplayers because you do it, and then there's other cosplayers around you, and you're just like, this is the most amazing thing ever. You have a geek out, and it's really a great community.
I love that so much. I cosplayed as Robin once, many, many moons ago, and you meet other people on the con floor and people. And one thing I found that was really interesting for that, and again, I've only done this once. You have done it, countless times, but people talk to you as if you are that character. And like, I don't, sometimes you're like, I don't know the distinction there. I don't know what to tell you, but I've done it myself before. When I've seen like a Shira, I'm like, I love you, Shira.
Right. The geekiness takes over sometimes.
The geekiness is strong. What are you in the cosplay community? People have explained this to me before, and I have a very baseline understanding of the dynamics of cosplayers. Are you a builder? Are you that's all I know. Builder, designer, a prop maker? Like, it seems like there are different categories that each cosplayer kind of like occupies.
Yeah, I'm none of those. I'm just the person that looks good in a suit. Like I don't have the skills to make my own stuff. I'm really, I mean, like I can modify stuff and I'll make things maybe tweak to fit me better or look better. But I don't have the skills to make props or sew or doing the sewing and stuff. Like I just like to wear it and have it on my body and just feel like it's there and like it works.
My best friend is a fit model and she has to wear clothes that's, designed for her body type and everything. And that is an art. And I know a lot of people dismiss that as something like, oh, rah, rah. But no, like the way you fit something, the way you wear it, that's wonderful. And obviously it shines through in the community you've made. So I agree. You look great in them. So today we were talking about what we should read, and you had X-Men The End by Chris Claremont. And we're going to read the first volume of that. And I'm curious, why did you have that volume laying around?
I have 2 and 3 as well. But
oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think this was around the time where I was looking for comics specifically. I was like, oh, I want to know more. I want to see these characters. I want to see some. And I think I was like in Barnes and Noble. I was browsing the comic section. I think the art kind of spoke to me. I'm like, this is beautiful. It was around the time Phoenix and Song came out too, and I'm like, oh, I love the art in this. This is beautiful. So I think it just
Phoenix and Song when it first came out, the art was gorgeous, but unfortunately, the artist didn't do so well later on. But anyways, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I remember just seeing that art, and I was like, yeah, cool. And so this was part of it, and I'm like, ooh, the end, and I didn't realize that this was like a whole like Marvel series of the end books until much later. So I was just like, oh, this looks good.
It was so you nailed it. It was a series created by Marvel. They were doing multiple The End titles, and X-Men obviously was up on the docket, and of course Chris Claremont had to write it. And I think it was more of a reaction to the X-Men Reloaded era where the Astonishing Team was at the forefront. New X-Men had just ended. Phoenix and Song had just, played out. So I think there's a lot in here in the series that was meant to tie in some loose ends, like Madeline Pryor and the origins of Gambit. And so I enjoyed it a lot. I've heard a lot of people haven't enjoyed it though, or at least by today's standard, no one really talks about it.
Yeah, and I did read that. I was looking at it, like, oh, people didn't like it so much. I was like, oh, and I guess because it isn't 616, but it's inspired by 616 stuff. So
Yeah,
that was interesting to me.
Yeah, the thing that I took this as, I took that everything that had happened in the main Marvel universe was canon for this. And that's why when I've gotten little spats with people about is Gambit a Summers brother? Well, X-Men the End sort of confirms this later on in the series, not in the volume we read, because this was a spanning epic. Like this went on for years. But also Madeline Pryor as well. Her origins are sort of tackled in there. And the main character of this series, Alaya, is the daughter of Bishop and Deathbird.
Yeah.
And she's fabulous. I don't think we've seen her in ever since this story.
I mean, yeah, this was the first when I picked this up. I was like, "Oh, who's this chick?" I'm like, "Oh, I know Bishop." Like, "Oh, okay." I didn't realize. So I was learning so much reading this. The first time I read it, but then I'm going back again. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have memories." Okay.
I love the Greg Land art, of her on the cover with the guns and like Jean in the background and Storm and our boy Cyclops. I just thought it was so beautiful. And just to jump into the first issue, I love that opening scene where it kind of like tells us her origin story and she's like jogging through the simulation and you see the mansion and everything. And I just thought like the art was so kinetic. It was so well done. I think Sean Chen nailed it. He captured a mood here.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what drew me into it. All of this art, I'm like, yes. And I think this was around the time where I'm just like, I like comic books. Why don't I read these more?
I love how you're like, why don't I read more comic books? But you know what? That's totally fine because like it's not for everyone. Like a lot of people love and appreciate the movies and stuff like that more. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong way to be a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like comics. I think the thing with me is I just get so overwhelmed and I get lost. I can't keep up, and then I get lost, and then I get this feeling where I'm like, I can't. Where do I start now? Where do I read? So, and that's what just happened.
Well, I will give you a reading guide, obviously. But so Aaliyah here is confronting the Kree and she saves this like weird stranger who kind of comes out of this like pod, like Matrix style. Like she's bald, she's naked, she has like tubes connected, she's slimy.
Like, who is this? This is not Cassandra Nova. What?
and so they escape on the Starjammers, spaceship. And the stranger manifests a Phoenix effect, and it's Jean.
Yeah. Surprise.
Surprise. We didn't know it was Jean because at the time, at least when you're reading it, she's just a random stranger. She's just a figure. Like she doesn't have her signature red hair. She just came out of this pod. And I love that moment when they're on the Starjammer and the Phoenix effect happens and they do that splash page with like Cyclops and Emma, Rachel, Cable, Mr. Sinister. I was kind of weirded out, and I remember reading this when I was in college. Right there. Oh Beautiful. My god. And Sinister's like, well, at long last the prodigal daughter returns. And Cable's like, oh my god, did I betray you? And Rachel's like, Mom. And I loved it. It was a moment. Jean is back and everyone is feeling it.
Yeah. It took the world by storm, and it is really impactful. It's something, you see it in the sky and everywhere around the world. It's like,
what would you do if you saw a Phoenix effect? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
but what would you do if you were just randomly walking through Milwaukee and you saw a Phoenix effect?
I'd be like, oh my god, this is too cool. I'm like, where's my video camera?
I know. I Instagram it. Like the first thing I do is
Yeah.
Instagram it.
Yeah.
But I love the line Aaliyah gives where she's here like, I've heard stories about you. You're supposed to be the end of all there is. And Jean's like, not now, not ever, but what I am is cold. Naked. Although I was like, but
Right.
Jean, you just manifested the Phoenix. Like maybe you're a little warm.
Right. I mean,
Um, but
feel
I
the burn.
but I understand why this first issue would have resonated with a reader. And I'm sorry, wait, before I move on to we move on, excuse me, to the next issue. It ends with Nightcrawler coming on board because his daughter Nocturne is, brainwashed and is near death, and only her dad can help her. And Jean intuitively knew that. But I understand full well why someone who's probably not into comics as much would have picked this up, because there is a sense of urgency. You do have a blank slate with the character like Aaliyah, who is your point of view character.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really badass and interesting and has a great origin story.
Yeah. Yeah. All of that. All the things. You said all the things.
I said all the things.
But exactly. And because it felt like, I would get, because it's tying all these things together, I felt like I would get a little bit of all the history that's been happening at some point. And even if I don't understand it, at least I get a little piece of it.
Yeah. And Chris Claremont, I think, is such a great writer in that he always frames things in his captions for people. You know what I mean? I know if you're like a big X reader, you're kind of like, oh, this is reductive dialogue. But everyone picks up a comic book for the first time, and this really helps. But anyways, I thought issue 1 was such a great story setup. My only qualm was with Storm kind of like in that chair and Wolverine being like, here comes the airplane coming. I was like, no.
I still don't, why was she like that? I still don't understand why she was like that.
I still don't get it. Someone can explain it to me. I have to read volume 2 again. I remember thinking like they never really explained what happened there. Maybe they did. And if you're listening to this episode and please feel free to DM us at Power of X-Men to explain it. But I remember not feeling I got an answer for that. And also thinking 2 things. One, like, why would you put Storm in a situation like that? Like, she's an all-powerful goddess. Like, that just seems like I don't know. Don't put her there. And then B, I don't buy for 1 second that Wolverine would have been like, Jeannie can take care of herself. I think Wolverine would be like, shit.
Right.
Gina's back. Yeah. And Storm will be like, shit, Gina's back too, because those are 2 people right after Cyclops that have a strong rapport with Jean. Storm and her have a sisterly bond. Obviously, that love triangle with Logan. So that kind of took me out there for a while, but like, sure, like it's been decades since she's been around.
And I've never been a fan of Logan and Storm together. Didn't really make sense to me.
Agreed. Just because it's 2 iconic characters doesn't mean they need to be together. You know what I mean? Like they can just be coworkers. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. And they're both very sexy. Don't get me wrong. They're beautiful humans, but I don't need them to come together.
Yeah.
So the next issue.
Oh, this is where we have Emma and Scott. So this is when they're at the mansion and Scott is doing like talking to Jean's parents about. It's like, yeah, I know. I saw it too. and Emma's like, ugh, I don't care about Jean. I don't care about her parents. Just leave them, like, come with the bed. And it's like, your family is more important, which I don't think Emma and Scott ever had children. And that's why I knew I'm like, this can't be 616.
Yeah.
They have like what, 4 daughters or something. There's 3 daughters and a son.
Yeah. So I think baby Alex, and then they have Megan or Meg, who is a telepath. But yeah, like this, presumably the Emma Scott relationship was just beginning in Astonishing. So we hadn't seen them as a couple for a long time. So you're absolutely right. Of course, it's not going to be 616. But then it flashed forward here. Like I'm assuming it's like 20 years. I forgot what the actual number was.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice to see it. And like Cyclops has that line where he's here like, it wasn't easy leaving Jean, but it was the best decision of my life. And it obviously worked out.
Yeah. That's true. That was nice. Then we have Kitty and and Rachel at a bar.
Oh yeah. Well, apparently Kitty is running for office.
Yeah, that's a connection to our charm thing with the ready for office.
Oh my God. There you go. This is why this is a crossover event. Yeah. So like Cyclops is like going around and he's here like, oh, I'm going to go like get like Rachel and Nathan and have the Cuckoos come with me because Jean is back. And they're like, no, we're kind of busy. And like
Right.
Rachel gets like really angry.
She does. She starts like sparking up. She's like, it's like, I'm fire. I'm gonna get you. And she's probably wasted. She's a little bit drunk at this point too. Very highly emotional.
Why wouldn't you be drunk? I mean, like she just felt her like mom return from the dead like a zillionth time, and her dad, who she has a lot of grievances with, just shows up. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun scene. Like they're all running through, trying to get the gang back to see like what are we gonna do with Jean's return.
Yeah. I know Kitty gets like, she's like bisexual modern times and like current comics and stuff.
Yeah, it was purposely intentional by Chris Claremont at the end that Kitty would have children with red hair, and it was supposed to be insinuated it was with Rachel, and that Rachel and Kitty were in some kind of relationship. And that's something Flinkman, who used to be on Generations of X with me, mentioned.
Okay, because I definitely got that in this. I'm like, I don't think they ever said it, but I was definitely getting those vibes. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing things.
They're a cute couple. I stand that couple.
Right.
And, you know, I think what happened with Cable, where Cable was like, oh no, like, go away, Cyclops. I felt like I'm kind of busy right now because he was with Irene Merriweather, who, again, later on, and I may be jumping forward, is actually the vessel for his greatest enemy. Yeah, and I was just like, okay, sorry. Like, there goes your love interest there. But I thought that was a little out of character that he at least wouldn't have gone to help her. But I feel like the sense of agency in issue 2 is palpable. And then we obviously have that story with Gambit and Rogue, where Mr. Sinister like dupes them in the end. But and Emma's just like, I'm not having any of this. I'm leaving. I'm going, to stay with Anna and Rebby. Which again, at the time, Anna, like we just found out her name. Like we did not know that name for Rogue.
Yeah.
I know it was a really. The thing is, like, I mean, Anna had been revealed already in the Rogue miniseries, but what this story did like so well, it's just that it just brought so much together in terms of the characters and making sure all this history was like trying to fit into something. And I know Chris Claremont gets like a lot of like hate for having very convoluted writing, but if you read X-Men in the end, there is something very special about it, and it's because of these little details. But anyways, so yeah, I think that was issue 2 in a nutshell.
I kind of like the Carol Jean relationship that's been starting.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Wait, hang on. Let me pull back that issue. I love Carol and Jean. By the way, 2 cosmic characters that have so much in common.
I don't know if it might not happen in this issue, but I know they talk. There's some where they like start bantering and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. So this is where Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Jean are talking, and okay, and it's a really cute moment, and I love both of them together because if Kurt is the soul of the X-Men, Jean is the heart of the X-Men, so always seeing them together is wonderful. And he said something to the effect of, I'm trying to remember, I can't find the page, but he's here like, I never thought I was going to see you again. And Jean's like, you're talking to me or your daughter. And I love that so much. Yeah, I thought it was a great issue. I think the scene we're talking about probably happens
later.
In issue 4, but issue 3 was just, I think, more of an establishing like the world, the X-Men, and like what is everyone up to. A lot is going on with Aaliyah and her memories of Bishop and Deathbird, And, we see that she deals a lot with her pain through doing exercise, and it's really establishing her as sort of a major player in this series. And obviously we catch up with our favorite X-Men. Well, he's my favorite X-Man, no sarcasm, Beast. And like whatever, like Beast is doing whatever the fuck Beast does. But we also see X-23, Emma's here, Iceman, and so all the X-Men are sort of put on high alert with everything that's going on. And I like that Jean's return is sort of the catalyst and the herald for everything that has been going on. And obviously in the next issue, as I'm seeing it right now, is where Apocalypse is revealed to
Oh
be,
yeah.
within Irene Merryweather. And Emma's just like, I'm done with this. Like, to Cyclops separately, you're like, I'm done. You need to prioritize your family, Cyclops. We're gone. We're leaving. And that's where Rogue and Emma goes to live with Rogue. Because Emma's not having this. She hates all the X-Men. She hates Xavier. She's like, you deal with her. That's your ex-wife. That's your mentor.
Right. It's like, you do with that, I'll do with the family.
But I'm sorry. I know I skipped ahead quite a bit there, but I think that puts us at around issue 5. If there's anything from issue 5 you want to call out.
Oh, this is with Danny. Okay. And Ronnie. Yes. Oh, Will Smith. Okay. Oh yeah, and then this is what. Oh yes. Okay.
I love your reactions. Stop it. I'm obsessed with your reactions.
I'm looking through it like, yeah, this is when like they Emma and Scott meet up with Gambit and Rogue, and they're having like a little beach day with the children.
I love that they have a beach day.
I know. And yes, okay. And there's scrolls everywhere.
Everywhere.
There's scrolls everywhere. Yeah, all over the place. And I love what Storm does here with the tornado freezing thing. Hurricane.
So I guess she was just in some kind of vessel that's supposed to like heal her body. Not that she was like weakened. I don't know, because I was like, man, like that's like that boot on her chest, like at the bottom of the pool. Like, I'm like, how can she even focus? But of course, she's a goddess. She can do anything.
Right. Oh, and I do love when Gambit comes back to Rogue and she's like, oh, what a lovely thing to say. Cacao. Because she knows that it's not him, and it's like, oh yeah, that was pretty cool, pretty awesome to me.
What I love about this issue so much is obviously the end with Strife, Genesis, and Madeline Pryor.
Yeah, you get that Summers reunion. Yeah.
Yes, and like I think we were kind of like afraid there for like a second. We're like, holy shit, like, are they Skrulls? I think, we know for a fact that Madeline isn't. I don't remember. Hang on, I'm scrolling through if it was answered in.
I think Strife was what?
Strife and Genesis, I feel, were Skrulls, and then Madeline turned out to be the real deal, which
which I love because she's the one that's going on. She's like, he left me, he's like, I was his first wife. Like, I mean, that little moment is perfect because she needs that moment.
Yeah. So in the following issue, which is the last one we read, when she's like, this was mine, I was here first, like in Emma and Scott's room, and Dust looks at her and it's like, Miss Jean, have you returned? And you do not call Madeline Pryor Jean Grey. She literally is like, I'm his first wife, and then kills Dust, and then takes on her disguise and like runs off with it to play secret to the X-Men. And I'm just like, obviously that will come to play later, but yeah, and obviously the mansion explodes, and it's where we end. And I'm sorry, I know I'm jumping around here, but it ends with Jean being like, Kurt, someone just declared war on the X-Men, and they may have wiped us out. So, what were your overall impressions of this?
I thought it was a fun fun time. I was like seeing characters that I forgot about because I'm not always in it, and so I'm like, oh yeah, and yeah, I had a fun time with it. There's some really nice moments, and it was cool to see the start of this journey.
Yeah, I think, knowing how it ends, I can't remember how I felt when I was reading it. I know I was intrigued and I was curious, but I feel like knowing how it ends, I think it's a great journey. I think you just accept it as a story of the X-Men, and this is a possible ending scenario for them. And it was written by Chris Claremont, so it's pretty official in that regard. So I enjoyed it. I'm probably going to dive into volume 2. But listeners, if you want to see us kiki about the next chapter, please, by all means.
Oh yeah.
All right, Kevin. Oh, I'm sorry. Hydrothermal.
Tell us. I really like that. I'm glad I came up with that. It's kind of cool, actually.
I love it. You're like, oh, I don't know if it's any good. I'm like, no, it's actually really great. What exciting projects do you have coming up?
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely doing my podcast. Still working hard with that. I'm going to work on some new cosplays. Try to get that Sokka one done. Maybe another. I want to maybe do Dakin.
You would be a perfect Dakin.
I
say Dakin. I know everyone says Dakin, but I say Dakin. I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you're right, but I say Dakin. So if I say Dakin again, I'm just on. Okay. You would be a perfect Dakin. Because
when I came out as bisexual, another friend of mine who is a big comic book reader, he's told me about Dakin, and I'm like. And that's when I got all the Dark Wolverine issues, and I'm like, this is like the first bisexual character that I know, and I'm like, he's a complete psychopath, but I love him, and so I I kind of like him, and so I think it'd be fun to cosplay him at some point. I love the representation right now in the X books. I think we have writers on the team that are really trying. And I think a lot of people forget that it originated with characters like Dakin and North Star and many great other countless characters that we can't possibly name, in a single episode of the podcast. But I'm glad that you saw that representation and gravitated towards it. Yeah. Okay, so we may get a Dakin. Where can folks find you? All right, you can find me at KGeezy87, KJEEZY87, and I just do everything there. I'm modeling and cosplay, and everything is very eclectic. And then my podcast page, Words of the Witches. It's on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. And all of you need to go to those communities, engage with them, and listen to our episode that we did together. You have such an amazing, infectious personality. I'm so glad we're going on like 4 hours of talking right now. I know. It's been a day, but it goes by so quick. It goes by so quickly. Kevin, I can't tell you how grateful I am to have you in my life now and this episode. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is great. All right, guys. As always, I'm the Uncanny Dayspring signing off.